I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole uh riots in LA and all these deportation things. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. Asian people, we support the country. We support the betterment of the country. We support that. So what is there to say? What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals. It is honestly tiring because here's the thing. We want the country to be better. We want the country to be better. We want the country to, if you did it legally, if you stand in line, if you paid the price, right? You paid the money and all that. You did all the process, the paperwork, all the stuff, which usually most Asian people do. Why would we care about someone jumping in line, crossing the border, and all this stuff?
Hey my people, Gracie here once again, welcoming you back to the channel. I hope that from wherever you my lovelies are watching this from, you are doing alright, and I hope that you're staying safe, and hopefully God has protected you and preserved you very well. I do, as always, appreciate the people that continuously support me on here, generous souls that give me super thanks and super chats. Y'all are highly appreciated, and a big shout out to my members as well that continuously choose it at Gracie's. Yes, the door is always open, but my members, y'all are so special and you're highly appreciated. As always, we have another interesting episode to look at. I have a video that I landed on of this Asian creator who I termed as a pick me, you know? Yes. According to the title of the video, or probably something in the thumbnail must have suggested that. And this guy, because all this Hispanic and every other community has been asking black people to come and fight and put their bodies on the line on their behalf, but they don't mention the Asian community. The Asian community is like one of those highly privileged people or kids that always get their way out and get stuff and benefit from other people's struggles. But when it comes to them doing the work and coming out and showing up, they normally don't show up except if they are being attacked. That's when they come out and cry and ask everybody to come and fight for them. So we have this Asian pick me creator that came and said that the reason as to why Asians are not showing up is because they love the country and support the US and every policy that the US is putting in place. And plus, his people came to the United States of America legally, and the Asian community doesn't have an illegal immigrant problem, or the Asian immigrants, they don't break like the fences and enter the country. Oh my goodness, he said quite a lot of things, and oh my God, there's a lot of people that came in here to school him, and he was really schooled good. We have to look at all these clips together, and credit again goes to the creators in here. We'll come back and talk about it. Do me a favor, like the video, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and let me know what you think.
I'll say this, right? I'm a nobody. But it's like I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. Asian people, we support the country. We support the betterment of the country. We support that. So what is there to say? What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals. It is honestly tiring because here's the thing. We want the country to be better. We want the country to be better. We want the country to, if you did it legally, if you stand in line, if you paid the price, right? You paid the money and all that. You did all the process, the paperwork, all the stuff, which usually most Asian people do. Why would we care about someone jumping in line, crossing the border, and all this stuff? Why should we, be happy about that? We're not really. This is the thing where we're not really dependent. Asian people aren't really dependent on migrant labor, right? Not like other people. We're not really dependent on migrant labor. So we're not gonna cry that the U.S. is pretty much backing what they promised. The U.S. promised, or this presidency promised, that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying? Why are you crying about it? This is the thing where, you see it like these immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. That's the thing. Asian people want to, focus on themselves and their community and their country. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. So really, stop asking Asian influencers just speak up about it because you won't like what they say. You won't like what they say. So really, it's better off that they do the content that they're doing instead of, say things you don't like. Because here's the thing: Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and say what they're really thinking. Deport, right? Deport illegal immigrants. They are fine with it.
My parents, my grandparents, they did it the right way. They did it legally. This fight isn't my fight because we did it the right way. If you're a young East Asian American person and you fix your mouth to say something like that, then that tells me you really don't know the first thing about your own history. And this whole idea of they did it legally, do you understand that there used to be a time where we couldn't? People like us couldn't do it legally. We were prohibited. We were restricted from even being here. The Chinese Exclusion Act in 1882 made it so that people from China and other parts of Asia were not even allowed to enter this country. They couldn't work here and they couldn't live here. So legally wasn't even an option. And then if you say something like, well, I'm here legally, so I'm safe, I'm protected. Need I remind you that in 1942, 120,000 Japanese and other Asian Americans were scooped up out of their lives from their homes and taken to internment camps. Some as close to Los Angeles as Santa Anita. And these were U.S. citizens, second, third, fourth generation Americans, people who had served in the U.S. military, teachers, doctors, professionals, taken out of their lives, stripped of all of their belongings, put in camps. People in my father's generation. American citizens that look just like us. And because you're a U.S. citizen, you think that these civil rights of yours are protected. Where do you think these civil rights that you enjoy so much, where do you think they came from? How do you think you got them? By the good graces of the U.S. government? No. It was because of Black people and the civil rights movement. Civil rights movement spearheaded by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. led to the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The act effectively outlawed discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. The spirit of the civil rights movement, because we basically learned how to protest and fight for our rights from the Black civil rights movement. Because of that, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 helped to lead to the passage of the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965. And that removed the quota system and opened up immigration to those who were highly skilled, and that's important to remember, I'm going to get back to that in just a second, or had existing familial relationships in the U.S. 10 years after the signing, the Asian immigration population doubled, and to this day has shaped the diversity of our country. But let's get back to this real quick, because this is important. I'm hearing so many young Asian American, East Asians specifically, saying things like, well, my parents came here and they worked hard and they made a life for themselves, and that's why we are so successful in this country, and that's why, we make so much money and we're also highly educated. And true as that may be, because yes, they do work hard, and I'm not trying to take anything away from that, but it wasn't just hard work alone. In order to be here, our parents and grandparents had to apply, and those applications contained things like their level of education and their skills. So they were hand selected. It wasn't just whoever wanted to come could come. They were hand selected to be here. And guess who they chose? They chose people with skills like doctors or accountants or engineers or people like my father who were architects. So that's really important. It's something that you should factor in when you say things like that, because our parents and grandparents, they came here with a leg up. They came here with an advantage. And there's so many immigrants that come here that don't. And not only do they not have an advantage, they are at a complete and total disadvantage. They're escaping things like human trafficking, like drug cartels, like war, like, poverty. And a lot of them don't have any money. They don't have an education. But you know what they do want? They want the same thing that our parents and our grandparents wanted. And that is a life. That is a life for them and for their children. So go back to that. Go back to that ideal, because that's something you seem to understand. Our parents and grandparents came here because they wanted a better life. Well, so do they. But things like legality and advantages aren't always on their side like it may have been for us. Because we didn't come by it on our own, and they shouldn't have to either.
I'll say this, right? I'm a nobody. But it's like, I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. Asian people, we support the country, right?
This is why white supremacy continues to work, because white supremacists don't have to do the flip more. They just have coons like this motherfucker, a whole coon for the Asian community. Not understanding that 16% of undocumented immigrants are Asian. That's over 2 million people. So after they're finished with the brown people, guess where they're coming? You're next. This country had internment camps for Asian people. Let's not forget. But he's going to allow the white supremacists to use him to come out here and say, oh, we're okay with deportations. You're next. You're not safe, especially the way they're going after China. Trust me, you're not safe. It's the same thing how the white supremacists use the Asian community to get rid of affirmative action. And now, after they did that, Asian people are having trouble getting into college because the colleges don't have to see y'all no more. Y'all got rid of affirmative action. Even though affirmative action didn't just only help black people, it helped all y'all. But this is what I keep saying. White supremacists don't have to do anything when they have coon like this doing the footwork. When you don't say nothing when they come for your brothers and sisters, there will be no one to say anything when they come for you. And they will come for you. They always do. You know, come on TikTok, why you guys not helping us? Seriously. Wow. And this is his last video.
This is funny. I think I'm the most hated guy on TikTok right now. Right now, I think I'm the most hated.
No. People are just holding you accountable for your shitty ass words. You're not the most hated person on TikTok. When the systems in this country are still filled with white supremacy, there is not we are all Americans. Because if we were all Americans, we would all be treated the same. We would all be equal under the law. And we're not. Neither are you. Anyway, have a good day.
These immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that.
There is so much ignorance to address with this dude, but the comments about the immigrants in California waving Mexican flags, flags of other countries, and burning flags. First off, burning flags, waving other flags, protesting in the streets are all protected under the American Constitution that you pretend to love so much. So if that offends you, maybe you're the one who hates America. Secondly, many people waving Mexican flags in California are not immigrants. They're indigenous people who have ancestral roots in California before California was the US, before it was Mexico, before it was New Spain, back when it was their native land. Hundreds of years ago, when colonizers arrived and dropped their colonizer border onto stolen native land, many of those people waving the Mexican flag in California today are the direct descendants of those very natives. Their roots run through this land long before any colonizer claimed it, and no border can ever erase that. The same goes for Texas natives. You're someone whose family came here way after the fact, calling native people immigrants on their own land just to prove your loyalty to people who call you Kung Flu and China virus.
Asian people want to, focus on themselves and their community and their country. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. So really, stop asking Asian influencers to speak up about it.
But you want to be grouped with these people. The defeated traitors and January 6th insurrectionists. You don't want to be grouped with the people out in the streets fighting for your right to exist here. But you'll try to group yourself with the same people who called you Kung Flu and China virus. The same people who demonized you to fuel anti-Asian violence against you in this country. You want to group yourself with people who are actively raiding Asian nail salons and restaurants. You try to group yourself with a 34-time felon rapist. And I say try to group yourself because they will never accept you. You're just a useful idiot until they don't need you anymore.
I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. We support the deportations of illegals. Why would we care about someone jumping the line, crossing the border, and all this stuff? You think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. That's the thing. Asian people want to, focus on themselves and their community. Stop asking Asian influencers to speak up about it.
Yup. The Asian community has played into the model minority myth since they entered this country. You never see Asians protesting. You never see Asians as a group sticking up for other groups, sticking up for themselves, even though they benefit from the fight that Black people and other groups do. They're the most white aligning minorities. And they want to just be like absent from society. They're almost like they exist in America to follow the rules, to not ruffle any feathers, and just to support whatever America does. And that is like white is right. That's the way forward. Now, that's not all Asians, right? That's not everybody in that community, but that's typically why they're not looking to Asians to have a fight. When have you ever seen Asians fighting? I really want you to think long and hard about that. As Black people, when have you seen Asians at the forefront of any fight? The only time I can think in history that I can think of that is when the riots happened in LA and the Asians are fighting back against being attacked. Other than that, so yeah, that's why they're looking at Black people and not Asians, because Black people fight for everything. There's so much to unpack there historically with the way Asians arrived to this country versus the way that we exist in this country. No minority in this country exists how we do, because we've been here since before America was a country. So Black people have been fighting since we came to this country 400 years ago. So the mentality of how they exist here versus how we exist here is just completely night and day. And I think that for them, assimilating as much as they can and being as quiet as they can is just also culturally for them. Asians are not really loud, boisterous people. On top of that, I'm not making excuses for them, but that's just to answer your question. I don't think anyone would ever look to Asians to spearhead a fight. But Black people, they know we have been putting our lives on the line for half a millennia because that's our existence here.
I'll say this, right? I'm a nobody. But it's like, I've been seeing so many.
No, what I'm going to say, there's no hate, there's no racism or anything. It's just a visual observation. And if you look at the history of most, like China and North Korea, I think there's other like Asian countries, those people are more okay with, well, not North Korea, but like China is more fine with living under a dictatorship than actually protesting for their rights, because I don't know why. It's not I'm not a part of the group, I'm not part of the race. It's just a visual. I just see it as like, okay, that's why they're not like that, because they never been like that.
I just want to say just for records, because if you didn't know, they are revoking their citizenship when they come here legally. So once they get done with the Latino community, they will go after the Asian community as well, along with the Indian and such. We know how to pass one. I'm just making this for a record of this, so when it happens, just like before when the Black community tried to warn the Latino and Hispanic community, we don't have to say, I told you so. It's right here. And then when the Asian community is asking for help, we can just play this over and over again. Speaking of which, to the Latino and the Hispanic community, y'all have all this dislike and disgruntled, unrelented anger towards the Black community. Maybe y'all should redirect that to people who clearly don't care about y'all, because we cared enough that we tried to help you, and we still want to help you, and we still will help you to our abilities. But again, for people to just mitigate the fact that they think all of you are illegal, because again, he's talking about illegal immigrants not going through the right channels, ignoring the fact that they're being picked up at the courthouse doing the right channels. They're coming through the right way, but this person and many other people like this person are ignoring that fact. So instead of asking why the Black community isn't helping you, maybe target that energy towards the people who deserve it. Okay, maybe, and I'm not talking about attacking anyone. I'm just saying maybe question the people who literally have not been helping you, who do not care about you, because the Black community tried, and recently, last 2 weeks ago, when we told you as the Latin and the Hispanic community, please stop saying the N-word because it's very offensive and it shows us that you don't care about us, and which y'all didn't care, y'all doubled down. So instead of coming out at us with anger, let's use this energy to help police your own community and also hold these other different communities accountable when they're very, ignorant to your plight, instead of just constantly coming out at our Black women. And I'm going to say this more than anyone else. As a Black trans woman myself, I'm going to protect Black women and their peace. So you will leave my 92% alone in my presence.
Really dependent on migrant labor.
Liza Minnelli lies, bitch. Eliza Dushku lied. Now I was minding y'all's business in silence and letting everybody cook because once again, not our fight. We're Black. But then you started lying. Because I can't speak for everybody's city, but I know in mine, a lot of these Asian restaurants and businesses got a lot of Latinos working in them back rooms. Okay, they back there frying up that rice and them noodles, bitch. Like, you're not finna sit up here and lie. They are breaking down the boxes, bitch, and putting them in that stock room. You're not finna lie. Come on now. That's like lying about how some of y'all absolutely do come over here illegally. And just like your Latino brethren and sistren, you keep a low profile until you get that paperwork right. You're not finna sit up here and lie like this. Now, I'm gonna mind your business in silence until you start lying again.
A lot of people don't understand. Asian people, we support the country.
Hey man, I'm not gonna lie. Once they start coming for Asian people, hey, it is what it is. This is why I say, as Black people, we have to sit it out and we have to let it progress, unfortunately, because that's the only way y'all are gonna learn as a group. And when I say as a group, I mean all non-indigenous slave peoples, because all of y'all think that white supremacy is going to save you because, oh, well, we're not Mexican or we're not Black. Y'all gotta learn the hard way, and doing it the easy way has not worked at all.
Support the country.
I just want to say and make it clear that this man and people like him do not speak for all Asians. Okay? I know that for a fact because I'm actually about to stitch another Asian who lives in LA that is speaking out about what's going on in LA. Okay? Now don't get it twisted. We support the country. We do support the country. Most of us do. But we can support the country while still knowing what's right and what's wrong. And this is clearly wrong. Also, us Asians over here aren't just repeating outplayed and incorrect rhetoric just because it sounds fun. We actually study, we actually research, we actually read, we actually look shit up. Google is going to be your best friend. And we know that the idea that these immigrants entered our country illegally is incorrect. It's outplayed. And it's just their way to justify calling them illegal immigrants, when the truth is these are people that entered our country legally, but is just stuck in limbo because our naturalization process is backed up and fucked to all hell. And this is a personal pain for me because this man is clearly Filipino. This is coming from a Filipino. You let your accent slip, kuya. I mean, I'm not surprised because Filipinos tend to lean conservative because of the government in the Philippines. But what's paining me is the fact that Filipinos like this can speak out so loudly about something they're clearly ignorant about, something they're clearly uninformed and oblivious about. So it just sucks that they're coming off unintelligent. You know what I mean? You know what's funny about this? You know what's funny about him bloviating about how he supports the country, how Asians support the country? The country don't support him. The countries don't support Filipino because the country already threatened to deport Filipinos, a shit ton of Filipinos. Yes, even the ones that entered our country legally and is just stuck in the naturalization process so they don't have papers. They are trying to send them home even though they didn't do anything and it's not their fault that they didn't have papers. Are you okay with that? If so, that tells me everything I need to know about you. Point being, 1, he doesn't speak for all Asians. 2, you can support a country without throwing away your morals while still knowing what's right and what's wrong, and this is clearly wrong. And 3, if you are okay with anything that's going on with LA and this whole situation all over the country, you can unfollow me, please.
I've been hearing about other minorities asking Black people to show up and protest against ICE. Ask the Asians instead. Our shit's already being rocked. The working class ones are going to be targeted by ICE just like the Latino community. Hell, a bunch of us are already being deported and often to the wrong country. And then as for the richer ones, Trump has already banned all Chinese students from coming to the US to study and has banned all international students from coming to Harvard, which affects a whole lot of Asian international students. So anybody who looks Chinese, even if they're a US citizen, is going to be affected by this. He's put several South Asian countries on the travel ban list. So yeah, brown Asians are going to be affected too. Anyway, our voting numbers look very similar to Latinos. Just over half of us voted for Kamala and the rest went for Trump. We couldn't just bust into Black people when they told us to vote for the Black lady who wasn't going to take all our civil rights away. And now we want them to to come save our asses when they're getting whooped? Also, have you maybe considered that the feds want black people to show up to the protests because then they have an excuse to escalate the violence. Then they have an excuse to call them riots. We saw what happened with the peaceful protests in 2020 after George Floyd was by a policeman. Also, if you've been paying any attention at all, black people have been showing up to support Latinos who are potentially being deported. Look at all the videos from Compton. Just type Compton in your search bar. So why don't we do this? Why don't we let black people make their own decisions? Stop expecting them to be your personal avengers. Mobilize the Asians. I know that if I'm in front of a cop at a protest, he's gonna think twice about doing anything to me. He's not gonna give me the same grace as a white person, but he's definitely gonna give me more than he gives a black person. And if you can't go to a protest, just fucking say something, especially if you live in California. Asians, I know there's a lot of you over there. I was born in the Bay Area, so I feel like I should say something. Anyway, yeah, mobilize the Asians.
Okay, before we start this video, who is the last born here in the house? And I am asking this for some good reasons. Because last borns and some middle kids, they don't really struggle a lot. Sometimes things are really kind of soft. And Asians give off that vibe. But not just those vibes. But they also give off the pick me vibes. Masa, you see, I am good. You see, me, I did it the right way. You see, you know, that's the vibe. Him and more other people that think like him give off that vibe, right? They think they are in the country legally. And yet we have seen quite a number of actually clips and footage that shows some Asian people that are literally also breaking the fence and they are coming into America, right? But the thing is, most of these people be selfish, especially when it comes to moments like this, because they think they have got it all together. They think it applies to everybody. That's being out of touch with reality. Your reality is not all your Asian community people reality. Right? There's quite a lot of you that are in the country that are struggling as others. And like one of the brothers mentioned that actually Latinos be in Asian restaurants and they be working for them back there behind, right? We know that they normally always employ their own people, or of course, maybe they employ others. You guys will let me know. But from what he's saying, it looks like he was even fact-checked because it's not the truth. But you know how they normally say that even in the black community, there are those that are, the house, there used to be the house end people that used to work around the house and all of that. And then there used to be those that are in the plantation. I feel like this one right here is one of the house ones, right? It's trying to please the massa. Massa, your house is burning. Your house there, like our house is burning. They include themselves in the conversation. Shoka, if you look at history, these people, every privilege and every right they are able to enjoy is because black people fought, right? So it is quite very, very interesting that he even feel like it's okay to come out in times like this. When this community is actually supposed to be out there fighting, he proved the point that we support y'all's deportation. We don't want you here. We want to replace you because Massa is going to look at us differently. We're the ones that are going to be the beloved sons and daughters of Massa, right? So we support this because, hey, we're better than you. That's exactly what they are trying to say. For pick-me's, it's like, we are better than you. We are better than everybody else. You see, for us, we do it the right way. You see, for us, we obey the law. You see, but aren't there criminals in this community? Aren't they there? For me, I've seen a lot of documentaries of these people that are involved in gangs and all of this. This is no share or hate to any of these people because, like you've seen, there's quite a lot of them that are outspoken and they even called out this BS, right? But it's so crazy that you feel like it is okay to even come and speak this. Okay, it's called an opinion and you have one, and I think that should be okay. However, think before you say everything that you're going to say. How is it going to reflect on you which kind of person is it going to leave you as? Like, how are people going to perceive you after saying what you said on the internet? And then you're like, I am the most hated person on the internet. No, like one of the sisters said, they were holding you accountable to your own words. That was not right. And you owed the Asian community an apology and the community you were speaking about, because you are trying to insinuate that other people are doing it wrong and they are here legally. But let's not forget, a lot of them that even have due procedures or due appointments, they are being literally rounded up on their appointments. So, sir, is that illegal? This whole process takes like for forever to even get the citizenship or even a green card. But even people cannot receive the grace to receive this, because soon as you go to the court for your hearing or whatever, they round you up and take you. They are not picky who to pick and who not. Old, young, from all ages, they will round you up. So I feel like this is just a pick-me behavior. Yeah. And what happens with pick-me behaviors is later on you get abused. Yeah, you get abused and you'll be ashamed of asking for help because you fronted yourself and just, put yourself in that position. So, I don't know who you're gonna call for, because soon as they are done with them, don't think that you're going to be the exception. That's a problem with most people that think they are the exception in the rules of, palm-colored supremacists. You're not the exception, whether you like it or not. Yeah? You're not the good ones. You know how they normally say, we are not going to touch the good ones. Now they are going through all the good and the bad. You see how they normally talk about the black community. Oh, for you, you are the good black one. How are you going to know I am a good one? Simply because I have spoken. That gives you an impression that I am a good one, right? Why do you normally judge people that way without literally demonize and question their goodness? That's what this community does. They question humanity. Your humanity. You're not human enough. One of the videos that I did recently, right? They question your humanity, your existence, your smartness, and all of that. You have to prove to them always. But how many times do they prove to us that they are good humans? In fact, if there's anything that literally is on display always, is how evil they are to people that do not look like them. Now, not all of them, right? But this display normally is so loud. Their history normally is so loud. The residues of colonialism that lingers, the residues of slavery, the residues of systematic racism, the residues of discrimination and subjugation, all of those things, they still linger and stay in front of our eyes, and we see them on a daily basis, and yet people have to deal with them anyway, right? So if you thought these people are going to look at you and be like, oh my God, yes, you guys are doing it better. Oh, you must think again. You must think again, because in their playbook, the only race that is supposed to be dominant, that is supposed to be in the United States of America, is this. That is why they actually are spreading propaganda of a white genocide in South Africa, just to make sure they bring more palm-colored people to boost their population. That's why a lot of them would give a leeway to white Hispanics, and they said those are white. That's why a lot of them used to call Arabs white, because they know the numbers are not there, so they try to pull as many, and they manipulate you to make you feel like, oh, you're the good one. Until when? Right? Until when they are done with one they are supposed to be oppressing, and they will come to you, because it feels like it is in their DNA to oppress. They can't be at peace. So for the pygmies that are trying to suck into this, your time will come. But I don't know who you will ask for help. Everyone, black people are even speaking up, right? And then you, of all people. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. I think from me for today, that's it. I will definitely see you in another amazing video. Do me a favor, like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I think until then, my name is Gracie and I love all of you. Bye-bye.